Hey, happy rising, family. Well, first of all, I deleted the video I made before this one, which I called, which I gave the name, well, natural polarity between man and woman, the twin flame program, and the reincarnation loop technology. Because I spoke from a frustration within that was present in that moment. And my beautiful brother, soul brother within my inner circle here, I asked him because I felt this inner frustration and I just asked him to look at it um, and reflect back to me if he could feel it, that frustration coming through. And I could feel it and he could feel it also. So I decided to delete it because I was, I was, I was, I was being judgmental in a way, and talking about certain teachings I had a judgment about. That's the best way to describe it. And there are, of course, I still don't resonate with the teachings I spoke about. But well, certain parts. But normally, I always speak from my own inner experiences, my own journey. What happened within my body instrument, within my soul, within the layers, and etc. And then I'm clear about it because it's my soul speaking. It's from my own experience and wisdom within. And I bring forth harmony, for the ones who resonate. So that is why I decided to, delete that video. And yeah, and let me explain why the frustration was there. I decided a month before I had my video talk with Lalita about Nessus, in which she asked me how people could reach me for an online session. And you can see me doubt for a moment, but I decide to, share it anyway. What happened in that moment, I ignored my own sacred boundaries. I set for myself a month before the video I had with Lalita. I decided a month before I had the video with Lalita that I wanted to keep it very small. Only my inner circle and the ones flowing, flowing in through my inner circle, you know, journey with them, do the thing I do, work with the element landscape, the minerals, and see and assist them in their journey. And and that was wonderful. I created space and peace and calmness for myself, just being in my own bubble of peace and harmony and love with my animals, and creating more time for myself to just flow within a creative movement, start painting again for days and days. You just, and be very conscious about where I place my energy because I don't want to give it anymore to this matrix. And I want to give it to myself as much as I can. And of course, there is the inner circle from well, my soul family here in the Netherlands, and who I am in physical contact with. And if they need me, I'm there, 100%. And so I still work with the inner circle, and sometimes from through them, new souls come and they feel as family also. And I work with them, make the journey with them. The way I do and I love to do is hands on and face to face, being in the same room together. So I let myself I let myself go into a direction I didn't want to go. But I was like, well, it's just, well, maybe, it's time to renew and just expand the bound of expand, uh, how you call it, the area I work in, and just start working beyond the Netherlands. Be there for soul family everywhere. So, and it accelerated in high speed. So many sessions, and I had to make appointments, and I started a few sessions, and wonderful. I also received some money, and well, wonderful. Um, and a new way also of working with souls, but that still hasn't fully integrated. So there's a lot of new ways of working coming through for me, and so there was this frustration. There was this frustration because I was doing something I promised myself not to do. I promised myself to keep it calm. So, and I was still in that feeling when I made the video, the one before this one I deleted. So, I just want to apologize because I don't want to send out a message born from a frequency of vibration of frustration, because it can take you out of balance. So, if you felt that, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So well, I just woke up, and my voice, my soul was just speaking, okay, now reset your boundaries and close the door again. So I did, I went to my PayPal and I refund all the money, and I canceled the sessions, explained why, and I could breathe again. Yay! I could breathe again. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't care, I don't need much. No, I like to have a very simple life, and no, I don't need much. So I'm not someone for a practice. I tried, in 2005, I believe it was. I did it for a year, having a practice with all the appointments, and oh yeah, you get into that matrix system, and I don't wanna be in that matrix system. And as soon as someone asks me how does a session look like, you know, well, I never know because every soul is unique, and I don't know in which layer, in which element landscape um, we start the journey. You know, as soon as we connect, I will experience the movement, and I will see where your soul wants me to go, and what I need to see, and where is the essence of a core wound program layer, and how we eventually will travel through the element and mineral landscape. But I don't know that. I cannot tell you beforehand. You know, I never know. It's one big surprise. And as soon as I start the journey, I detach myself completely from everything that, I don't. I don't work. My mind doesn't work. You could say. That is, when I listen to. It's also when I had a period in which I read books, but it's a long time ago. It was during my when I was studying at the Dutch school in Den Haag for shiatsu. That was when I was reading books. Oh, Papa! Ah, Papa! And yeah, so during that time I was reading books, but I needed it. They were mirrors for me, to understand more about the teachings I was given theoretically, and because a lot of things didn't resonate with what I was feeling inside my body when I was starting, aligning to the elements within and the organs within. And I needed to discover it myself, before I fully could understand how to work with the element landscape within my body. It took me about 10 years working on myself and, of course, going through the landscape of the other soul I was working with in that moment. And, I need to let go of all logic and teachings, and I need to fully detach. And as soon as I find myself in the weird zone, I caterpillar into the zone of, am I going crazy? What a weird shit is happening here. Then I know I'm onto something. That's in the beginning, of course, when I started, but now I know I'm onto something. And as soon as I'm being pulled into agendas and dates, and it just I don't want to. I need to detach, to fully be there for myself and for another when needed. So I hope it makes sense. But that is the reason why I don't do any more online Skype sessions. So I don't do online Skype sessions. No, no, no. And I will share, of course, keep sharing my experiences I have within my own body instrument and everything that comes with that, and the experiences I have when I'm, traveling through another soul, and their soul is showing me things that, if it's important for the collective to hear, I will share it, of course, through videos for the ones who resonate. Yeah. So I was not honoring my earth element, the female energy within my earth element. Yeah, my spleen energy. Yeah, self-love, honoring your boundaries. So, and therefore the fluids, couldn't reach my roots. The spleen takes care of the fluids. So it couldn't reach my roots. And I just, started, moving from left to right. and in a certain disbalance, and frustration took over, and I just had it. I just had it with all the teachings, and with the agendas and the sessions, and oh no, not for me. I want to keep it small. I want to keep it small, but yeah, and travel with someone, a soul. Sometimes it takes a few months, and sometimes I travel with a soul, during a whole year, in several sessions. Oh, it's just, you know, I cannot wrap it up in a, you know, I am blah blah. I have a coaching agency. How you call it? Well, I don't know the English word, but or I'm a spiritual element healer or whatever seer. Uh, and and in session one you can expect that, and in session two you can expect that, and in session three you can expect that. No, that's not that doesn't work for me. No, no, there's no logic to it for me. No, it's just no. So now 15 minutes later, why I don't do any sessions anymore online. Yeah, yeah. So that's that. And but I want to get into what I spoke about in the video before this one, the one I deleted, about the reincarnation loop technology. And no, sorry, my eye is itching. But from within, just from my own experience, and yeah, and it came through this morning. I was reminded of my first ayahuasca session, my first and my last. I did in 2015, and well, it shows so beautifully how they work through our thoughts that are already present. The thoughts they use to holographically, create an environment. You could say a screen, a past life, incarnation. They place within. They activate in a way in the shadow layer you're working in the female or in the male landscape. It depends. And if you're working in the male landscape, it will present itself, the shattered soul piece. You could say the darkness you have to become conscious of, you need to bring home to your heart and therefore your soul. It will present itself if it's in the female environment of an element landscape, it will present itself as a male aspect. And that is already present in your thoughts, that you saw during meditation, whatever, or I experienced during working with my body. I could see that was the week before I had that ayahuasca session. I could see two monks, very big monks, Tibetan monks, and I was like, oh well, that must be part of the wisdom of my soul I'm integrating, or it's just because I was connecting to the Tibetan book of death. Um, I read it before, and I needed to look up something, and they use it. They use it. So those Tibetan monks manifested through my thoughts, during the ayahuasca session, and also a magician. Yeah, that that you could say represented my. It was just I saw this magician with this beard, and and I couldn't see it clearly. It didn't want to, I couldn't bring it close to me, and I couldn't understand exactly what it meant. But it was in the period that I had just created a power staff from wood. Um, and I created it like an eagle in a way, and with goose feathers on it. And I did an initiation um, at the water side where the land and the water meet each other. And I just called upon, I just told myself, it's time to activate the magician within myself, the power within. So that happened before. And I saw it as uh, a a magician with a white beard in a forest. So that happened before I did my first and last ayahuasca session. Fascinating. So this morning, I decided to because I was brought being back to that, and then just to see very clearly how the reincarnation loop technology works through our lost, shattered soul pieces, in a way. So I wrote it down, and there it was. Um, so I'm just gonna read it to you because you know me. If I start, I will lose track of everything. I just go into different directions and I just go where my heart wants to flow. So I decided to write it down and just read it to you. And if you want, you can read it in a calm moment later on my website also. I will place the link below the video. And I have the Dutch translation for my Dutch soul family also on my website. Yeah. And after I have read it to you, what I wrote down this morning, I also want to talk a moment about, well, entities that appear during, you could say, sex, when there is disharmony, when the natural polarity between the female and the male are out of balance. That's the opportunity for a entity to, well, use sex magic and take energy from us. Yeah. But that's something for later. And first, I'm going to share what came through this morning so clearly through my soul. So I'm going to read you a story. Just a moment. Where are you? There you are. Yeah. Okay. The beings within the Yaldabaoth realm, well, let's call them the archons for the sake of convenience, who need our energy to keep this realm running, manifest themselves holographically through our present thoughts and make themselves visible in our lost soul aspect present in the shadow layer we work through in that moment. As long as we don't recognize, love, and bring home the shattered soul aspect in the shadows, they can create confusion through this soul aspect and drain our energy. If you are not a seer, but you are a feeler, you bring your soul aspect into the shadow layer home just by stating your intention. It's time to come home into my heart. There are many ways, of course, and this was in my travels through the shadow layers within my body instrument my way. As a seer, it manifests itself in images for me, even if it is in the now a completely different picture. I'm seeing more holographically in nature, like moving geometries. But back to the experience. A good example of how archons move through incarnation shadow layers in us is my first and last experience during an ayahuasca journey in 2015. This was also my first time in which I perceived this realm as holographic inwardly. Yeah, that was my first time I could see the holographic nature of this matrix. Yeah. In that moment, I experienced the journey as magical, not yet realizing what was really happening. But my inner sense of purity helped me. What was present in my mind, I talked about it 2 weeks before. What was present in my mind manifested itself during the journey. The magician with the white long beard appeared first and indicated to enter the throne, which was not yet visible at that time. Then I went through many layers of holographic square-shaped tunnels, and every time I had to go up another layer, a new geometry became visible, carried in the hands of two giant Tibetan monks. I focused on that, and bloop, I was a level higher again. Truly a game. Until I finally found myself in a holographic jungle and changed into the form of a lizard. Hey, a lizard. The people who participated were visible to me as piles of black sand. And the woman who gave the session, together with her children, became visible as a queen wrapped in spider webs. Mm-hmm. Lizard, spider webs, archon energy. So where was I? The people who participated, in the ayahuasca session were visible to me as piles of black sand. And the woman who gave the session together with her children became visible as a queen wrapped in spider webs, sitting on a spiderweb throne. The white bearded magician reappeared and indicated that I should fertilize the black piles of sand and then enter the throne. Moving low over the ground, feeling my lizard tongue going in and out of my mouth, I crawled towards the first pile of sand, but felt I didn't want to connect with it. No, I can. Within the group of people I did the session with, there were still many masks present, and therefore the energy of impurity. So I couldn't connect with one pile of sand. The throne had no attraction for me either, and I felt trapped in a landscape of impurity. I just, and in that moment I started panicking for a moment, and then and in that moment I remembered that prior to the ayahuasca session, I had placed a little vase with wild flowers on the altar. Yeah, smart me. Still in the lizard form, I rushed towards my flowers, and the moment my nose caught the scent of the flowers, I felt myself grow bigger and take on wings. And I transformed into a butterfly shaped and being, and then spent the rest of the night just smelling my wildflowers, moving in my own love, bubble. So I intuitively felt and saw the deception during the ayahuasca journey and did the right thing to get myself back into my own love bubble center, where they could no longer drain energy from me, you know. Yeah. They were just draining energy from me. Yeah. The Tibetans were part of a shadow layer I worked through, an incarnation loop. I welcomed them home into my heart and soul, for they represented the lost soul aspect present in that shadow layer. At that time, I also read the Tibetan Book of Death. After my soul aspects returned home, inner wisdom came through my soul about Tibetan medicine that I started using in my own inner healing journey I made with my body organs, who were so sick during that time. The white bearded magician was a soul aspect that belonged in a shadow layer connected to an incarnation loop in the magical forest of Avalon, where the magician wanted my sword. He was coming after my sword. This sword was meant for someone else, he kept repeating. But I did everything I could to keep my sword because I felt it was mine. I knew it was mine, and I would lose my strength otherwise. The case ended when I realized, well, the case, well, the chase, the chase ended when I realized that the magician represented the shadow, the yeah, the shadow, the shattered soul piece, you know, in that incarnation loop, seeking the magic outside myself. You know, I wrapped it all in a sword. He was the lost soul aspect I also brought home to my heart and soul. After this, I let go of the searching outside myself and completely trusted my own magical inner powers and body instruments. Both the Tibetan and the magician represented the masculine energy that I brought home in the oneness of my feminine love energy, which made the child energy feel safe again, and the child wound demagnetized this matrix program. It lost its power. Because when we make our inner journey, we find out that everything in us is split. Either the feminine lives in the shadows or the masculine. The two shadow layers that played out in this split matrix programming incarnation loop presented itself in my metal element landscape, the Tibetan mountains, in the male emotion living in the large intestine, not being able to let go of sadness in my female lungs, and in the wood element landscape, the woods of Avalon, in the male emotion living in my gallbladder, you know, unrooted, not anchored in its own magical power, and therefore the woman was feeling unsafe, unbalanced, and frustrated in the liver. After these two experiences, my large intestine and lung and gallbladder and liver had reset into harmonic 0 point and felt healthy again, regained its energy. After which the miraculous self-healing journey through the landscape of my elements and the still diseased organs started to take on new forms of healing. I started working with inner elements and mineral energy movements, colors, tones, and geometries. So a new landscape of self-healing presented itself. Yeah, yeah. You know, well, need I say more about the incarnation loop technology that we come across while we do our shadow work. And we enter the layers of the other dimensions or the past lives. Yeah, and as soon as we don't, we start, um, if I started to see that magician, that was coming after my sword, and I decided, to give it my sword because it belonged to another. Um, I would create a loop for myself. Yeah, a loop within um, the layer within my liver, the organ, the liver, um, the male energy of the wood element, in the forest. That would lead to more frustration. And, and I would just keep looping. And they could just, when I would feel that frustration, they could, take it, slurp, take the energy, to keep this Yaldabaoth realm going, because we are nothing more than batteries for them. And that is why I'm very conscious about my energy. I want to keep it small, just the inner circle here in the Netherlands. And yeah, and just be in my beautiful 0 point field love bubble, and in harmony and peace. And I wish I could go back to the new earth dream. We are creating the new earth. And yeah, sometimes I wish I could go back to that, but I cannot unsee what I have seen. I cannot romanticize anything anymore. It is what it is. We are in this Yaldabaoth realm, we were trapped as souls and seduced to get into this realm and this copy realm. And yeah, they use us as batteries, and they wipe our memory every time we start a new reset round. And so we don't remember the trauma because everything is trauma based. Everything is trauma based. Even nature is trauma based. Why cannot all the animals just eat plants? No, they have to kill each other also. Everything is trauma based for all within this realm. And and they just throw in the false light teachings and present it in a way that it's like a school, and we learn and we expand. Well, we don't expand. And yeah, and then we get a better person, and it's all needed. We need to accept everything. Oh, well, the drill. But from where I am now, we cannot change that. We can step out of it. That's what I'm consciously doing. I step out of it. I'm just in my wonderful love bubble, and with my inner circle, who flows in and flows out at certain times when it's needed, and that's it. And I just hi matrix, and I'm just looking at all the stupidity that is happening on the outside screen there in the collective, and with an inner smile, because I know the essence of what it is. And um, and from my truth within this consciousness now. So to me, it's very clear. So I cannot romanticize anything anymore, and but that doesn't mean there's no magic, and there's no laughter, and there's no love, and fun and joy, and you know, I'm having it all, but I I can no longer just give anything to the matrix. No, no, no more. No, and I'm just, and we'll see, and we'll see from where I am now. It's just I see, well, the void. I've experienced the void, and it's a wonderful place. And it's like there's a 100% love, and it's like you're in this womb, uh, and and there's nothing and everything at the same time. But it's enough to just be fluid in those waters, plasma-like waters, and just flowing in this spiral movement very calmly. It's so nurturing. But is it the doorway out of here? I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. What do we know? We all know something, and yeah, we all hold pieces of the puzzle, you could say, because we were all wiped. So, but I resonate with what I experience through my own body instrument when I travel through it, and what I see, and what I see when I travel through the body and the instrument and the elements and the shadow layers and blah 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 in another, and what their soul wants to show me. So I trust that, and I can only, move from that. So we'll see if the void is truly the exit, or I there's I talked about it before. I also have that very strong feeling that I just want to check out. Well, if I go, if my body is like, well, enough is enough, and finally free, well, I go check out the void, of course, and see. And if it's just a place of rest, well, maybe I'll rest there, for I don't know, maybe a million years or so. I don't know, because time doesn't exist there. It's just, it's a wonderful feeling. It's like a place you never want to leave. So, but maybe I just challenge myself, and I'm curious because I'm very curious, and I love to explore. So maybe I go check out the room, the white room. The reincarnation room, where they are gonna try to talk us into, um, do another round. Let's incarnate again. Yay! With all these, yeah, archons dressed up as, you know, people we used to love. Yeah, that are, our death already started a new incarnation, but they, the way Lalita calls it, the machine elves. The machine elves trying to convince us, because we have to agree. It's the same with the jabs. If they have to, you have to agree. And I believe it's with when we start a new, and if they want to try pull us into a new reincarnation round, we also have to agree. So it's let's see how strong our soul is in that moment. So for me, I feel that if we go there, decide to be curious and check it out and just see if we, what's happening there. I feel it's just the only thing we have to do is say no and stick with it and just turn around. That's a very strong feeling I have. Turn around. Just turn around. Yeah. I mentioned it before. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. But I don't want to. And the same with the with Lolita. I did the asteroids, and it was wonderful because it shows exactly the programming I went through. And the past life incarnation loop technology that was present in there. It's all in there, but also the soul shattered pieces I brought home, that are part of my powers, you could say, my magic. They know it all. They know it all. It's all in the Akashic records, but it's which I refer to as the moon station, incarnation station, and the library where they collect and know all our thoughts and manipulate from. So, yeah, so that was fascinating, but I'm letting it all go again because, I just want to be in 0 point. I just want to be in oneness, in harmony within my own beautiful bubble and just flow and enjoy and love and be with the ones I love and keep it simple for myself. Very simple. Yeah, for the time I'm still here, with my body. And yeah, when it's time to go, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah. Knowing me, I cannot resist. I have to check out. I have to go to the white light just to have some fun, I guess, because I love to, you know. um, I don't know the English word, but you know what I mean. So we'll see. And and in meanwhile, I just keep traveling through the landscape of the body instrument and do the tuning and with the geometry and assist others within my inner circle. And so, yeah, well, I guess that's enough for now. And I wanted to get into, oh yeah, the entities during sex. Um, just an example from my own experience, because with a past lover, um, we would have just, to talk about the natural polarity between, woman and man while they are making love. And because in that video I deleted, I talk about the teachings, that I was feeling the irritation. And but there are great, some things resonate and other things don't resonate. And but through my own experience, I know that when the polarity, you could say, is in harmony between the man and the woman, they both want to engage into a beautiful, magical love journey. Um, and if the male is dominant in his energy, you could say, and the woman is submissive, it can be a very beautiful and powerful renewing energy for the both of them. So dominance and submissive doesn't always mean that it's, a negative experience, you know. So, because I experienced, we were, from my own experience, we were exploring. We had this bought this wonderful chair. You could just relax in the chair and just hang it up to on the ceiling, and then the one would be submissive and the other would be dominant, and take all the time. And from that harmonic, you know, love. So then the spirals, the magnetizing spirals just start, moving in opposite directions, but just and becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they touch each other and become this explosion, and it becomes bigger. It's all electric. It's beautiful, and it grows and bigger, 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 bigger until you have your finally you have you have your etheric orgasms, and later you have your physical orgasm together, and it's you truly light up yourself, and well, and all the surroundings, the whole village. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's when it's from the harmonic natural polarity, you could say. It's very powerful. Yeah, it's beautiful, and then it's okay. Then the dominant male energy and the submissive female energy can be beautiful together, perfect together, and you know, yeah. So yeah, and if one, later on, I didn't, I there was things had happened, and um, there was a huge disturbance within the relationship, and he wanted to make love, and I didn't felt like making love, but his dominance took over in a not such a nice way. So when dominance of the male is in harmony, you could say, and the man calls you his woman, you are my woman, that's beautiful. That gives the woman a beautiful feeling. But as soon as the energy of jealousy is behind it, in a possessive way, when the same man calls you, you are my woman, you're my woman, it has a totally different effect. So that's when the dominant energy, the polarity is out of balance. And the same when you're having sex, you make love together, and um, one of the two, doesn't want to, but the other one dominates and takes over anyway, and then you experience love making. The two spirals that magnetize each other are here. The one is here and the other is there. So it's it cannot reach each other. It's a destructive energy, and it opens up the door to sex magic. To entities to hook on, and which happened also. There was this entity above us, and it was hooked on to, well, us both, I guess, and was slurping the sexual energy. Yeah, and it was not the first time. It happened several times, but it was for me the first time the entity became visible, and yeah. So that is what can happen also when you could say the natural polarity between the man and the woman is out of balance. Yeah, yeah, Well, enough for now. Much love to you all. And well, if you want to read the story I talked about, the reincarnation loop technology that became so visible this morning in a memory I have about a journey, ayahuasca journey I made. So just, go to the website, read it again if it resonates. And the Dutch version you will find there also. Yeah. Okay. Love to you all. And have a happy every harmonic 0 point moment. Oh, yeah. And I will, of course, keep sharing um, more about the elements and, the element landscape and how it's connected to the emotions and how you can work with that, etc., etc. Because I shared the earth harmonizing, harmonizing the earth element, but I will also do the other elements. So, if it resonates, you have some tools to work with within your own beautiful body instrument. Okay. Much love to you all. Bye for now.